Hi team, we're here today with Jainish Shah, RMA at the Elizabeth Street branch, and we're here to talk about AuRA and how it's been helping him in his role. So without further ado, I'm going to launch into it.
So as a migration agent, there's a variety of times that we keep looking for answers. We keep going through the policy, through Legend, just to get some clarity on some of the questions that we get from the clients. Using AuRA has been really helpful, especially when the questions are very technical, and where you would think that if you actually went and attempted going through Legend and trying to look for the answer, it would take a long time. Whereas AuRA will actually just pinpoint where exactly the answer is. And then all I do is just go straight to that pinpointed section, just verify by myself, and that's it.
So what you're saying, you're using it to kind of shortcut the process and go like, tell me where to find the answer kind of thing? Or?
Yeah. So it actually gives me like a first kind of an answer that I generally expect from an AI tool to give me.
Yeah.
So it does give me that kind of a breakdown of what I'm looking for, what are the things that I should be careful with. But then it also gives me what's the reference point of that answer, which is straight from the Legend, straight from the policy. So then I also want to make sure that I'm double checking that part as well. So this is where I go into the policy and then look at it by myself just to verify the information that's been given as well. It does reduce the amount of time that I used to spend originally trying to look for this particular information. But then because it's pinpointing where exactly the answer is, it reduces the time that you're spending now.
How much time would you save in a day, say?
So probably I would say for each question, I'm probably looking at least 10-15 minutes.
Okay, and how many questions you're doing a day?
I would probably go at least 6, 7, 8 questions a day. Yeah.
So that's significant sort of time saving.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And so for the rest of that time, you're just having coffees and relaxing.
You know that.
And have you found it like easy to use?
It is. It's just like any other AI tool, right? So if you talk about people nowadays, we are so used to using this AI, ChatGPT, or any other platform you could think of, right? It's just as simple as asking a question in your own language. It actually interprets and it understands what you're trying to ask. It'll also fix up some of your errors in your question if you had any, right? So it is definitely very easy to use. Yeah.
So it not only just gives you the answer, but it helps you refine your questions
100%,
as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously the more you use it, the more familiar you become with how to use the tool, and then it becomes easier.
100%, yeah.
You talked about the fact that you're using it to look up particular cases or particular information you're looking for. What else do you use it for? Is there anything else?
No, mainly pretty much case-specific scenarios that I'm going into. Sometimes what happens is you're trying to get into the information, obviously that hasn't come from the client. You come across when you're dealing with your existing client's case already, where you want to just double check something, you want to get some clarity from what and how it is said in the law. This is where I use it for as well, so it's kind of useful across pretty much the entire day, not just when the client asks a question, also for my day-to-day task, for anything to do with the migration as well.
And has there been one particular case, like a standout moment where you've gone, man, this is a really good tool, and I can't believe it, that I've got it?
See, at the start when I started using it, we had a client. She was a UK citizen, and she was a permanent resident of Australia as well, right? So she wanted to bring her mother on the aged parent visa. And at this point, told us that she's got a brother as well, who is dependent on her mother, and the brother was 31 years old. Now, this is where trying to apply for an aged parent visa with a dependent child who is 31 years old. Now, if you talk about just the general requirements, obviously the age factor is a big factor here. And he was dependent because he had some kind of a medical condition. So she wanted some clarity on what can go wrong if he goes for medical, and if they figure out how much money that has to be spent for his treatment while he's here, and depending on that, immigration actually considers whether they want to grant him the visa or not. Now, we understand the visa process probably comes later, 20-30 years later, but the medical and the health check probably process starts as soon as you apply, probably generally within 12 to 24 months. Immigration does request for the health check. This is where I actually went to AuRA, and I'm like, okay, we've got this case. What information that I should be careful with? What am I looking for? So let's say if his treatment costed X amount of money, how many years they're going to consider for them to think, okay, that this person's going to cost Australian economy so and so amount of dollars, right? And it gave me a really good answer. It pretty much got me straight into where exactly the answer was mentioned in the 4005, 4007, the health policy. And then told me, it's the threshold that you have to meet when someone applies for a permanent visa, they're looking for a certain number of years that they're going to check across. Let's say health treatment's costing $20,000 to Australian economy. They'll multiply that by across so many years. And then that gave me like a very specific answer that I was looking for.
Yep.
And as soon as I had that, I went straight into the policy, again, just to kind of look at it by myself as well. And I found that too, like I would have probably spent around 20 minutes, or even more, just to get a bit more clarity in detail. And it answered me like right on point.
So it's interesting that you're using it as a tool to say, help me find out what information I need to be careful about rather than give me the answer to it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because that's what it is for, right? It's just like any other AI. So it's not just giving you the answer of your question, but because it understands different kind of commands as well. So if you give him any other command, then most likely it'll come back with the kind of the question that you answered, and looking at the legislation and trying to connect that with the case that you have, and then it'll come back to you with the answer accordingly. Yeah.
I imagine you could also use it in a way where you put a draft in and say, imagine you're a case officer, like where would you find holes in my submission, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, see, I haven't tried that, to be honest though.
Yeah.
But I have tried it using to use it for trying to give me like a brief submission on things. Yeah. Also use the legislation as the base of the submission as well. And it has done that as well.
Yeah, because I know that's one of the tools that a lot of people, broader sort of ChatGPT perspective, they put it in the other person's view and say, critique this and tell me where you think the holes are, and that helps, patch up any gaps that there might be as well. If you were to give any advice to any one of our team that is looking to, perhaps start using AuRA but's unsure how to use it or when to use it, what advice would you give them?
Anyone out there is probably not using any of those AI tools at the moment.
Yeah.
So just treat it like any other AI that you're using. At the start, if you're unsure how to ask, what to ask, maybe ask your basic questions.
Yeah.
Just to get some clarity on how it is actually reading your question.
Yeah.
And what kind of information it is coming back with. And then it's a tool that you can play as a toy as well. Like you're going through your daily life, you're at work, and you're coming across these questions, and you're like, what? Let me ask this migration agent. Might as well just try asking the question on the tool, and then you'll get some clarity, and then maybe verify that with someone senior within the team if you really want to.
Yeah.
But very easy to use. Maybe start probably with the basic questions, and then as soon as you come across some complex scenarios, try asking that as well and see what it comes back with.
Do you see any downsides at all to using it?
Not at all. See, at the end of the day, it's an AI tool, so we don't completely rely on that. We still have to rely on what the law says and what the policy says most times. If you talk about anything, it's only got the positive, where it reduces the amount of time that you would spend to give answer to your client at any given day in any situation, just because it's kind of pinpointing where the answer is.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I suppose there you have it, right? I mean, it's about making things easier for us as migration agents and be able to give advice to our clients. It's saving us time, making us more efficient. So there's really no downside. So if you're not using AuRA yet, I think the recommendation setting from Jainish and saying from us is that you should try and get on it. Even if you're just playing with the system, just to test out a couple of answers, and then obviously you have to check that again against policy. I think that's a really good way of moving forward. So if you haven't jumped on it yet, jump onto AuRA, start using it, start playing with it, and you'll find the efficiencies come really quickly.